What's your favorite slot machine? Which one do you love more than all the others? Comment below or in the live stream with your favorite, and I'll tell you what you need to do to win on the slot machine you love the mostest. Is that a word? In all the casinos in all the world. And it's how I won and kept winning on my favorite slot machine. And of course, I'll be taking your questions because this is a live stream. I'm only saying that because, of course, the people who are live here now know it's a live stream, but you might be watching this after the fact. Hello to you watching this recording, either on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on my Facebook page, here on YouTube. Don't want to forget you guys. Um, and listening to this on the podcast later. So thank you for being here. Be sure to subscribe for notifications so you can have your questions answered the next time I do one of these. But either way, stick around and I'm sure it will be of value to you, even if you are watching this after the fact. But those of you who are here live, thank you so much. If you have a question, please use #question. That's so I can be sure to spot your question to me instead of the many comments in the live chat to each other. After all, this is a community video with friends checking in with one another and talking about all sorts of things, including what I'm talking about, but other stuff. It's a wonderful experience. I hope that you are able to enjoy that live. So let me make sure I share that banner for you across the bottom, if you can read that on a small screen. And so, right, good, yes. And so improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win online course. You'll also get 3 free valuable bonuses, including 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership, which is here, and donations are already coming in. And Jill's got a great question. I'm looking forward to answering it. And if you go to 30 Days to Play Slots Smarter and Win at courses.com, courses.professorslots.com, you'll see my course right here with it's 124 lessons. A couple other courses are going to be showing up here in the next couple of days, including a free course. So make sure you come back at courses.professorslots.com. I think you'll find those valuable too. But the course here shows the course curriculum and the bonuses, and that is something that I offer. So take a look at the professorslots.com/30 days for testimonials, course content, and the free bonuses. I increased the price twice this year so far. Right now, it's discounted at 30% off for a $60 savings. Get it before the price increases again. Eventually, it will. Let's take a look at some of the game themes. Those watching this live stream live have commented as their favorite. And Buffalo Grand, Jill says. And yes, so I have to lean this way to show Kiri. So Shawana can, and what is it? Serenity can see my cat, and remember to please like this video because it goes out to the YouTube algorithm and lots of good stuff starts happening. So please hit that like button. Thank you, Camilla, for saying the same thing. I thought for sure we'd get a lightning link or two here. And so, yes. So there's already questions coming in. Remember to use #question. But I also have gotten, looks like, yes. Let me make sure I don't hit you with a loud noise. Magpie has changed her saying on her super chat. Thank you for that $20 donation. It is very much appreciated, Magpie. Winners win is what she says with the super chat, which is only available on the live stream on YouTube for those of you watching on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook page. The live chat in YouTube has that option at the bottom. And lock it and link, okay. Piggy banking, okay. Keep up the names. Um, uh, and there's Camilla's. Um, uh, uh, and interesting. Uh, Minka commented that some machines don't have a brand name on them recently at my casino. Yes, there's a good marketing reason for that. I removed my stack of books, but there's a row of books right here all about marketing, and they they know marketing better than I do. I wish I knew it as well as them. And they know that if you're putting up stuff that prevents people from playing, they those marketing saying what the machine is to the benefit of the slot machine manufacturer, not to the benefit of the casino, unless it's a really popular name. And so it all becomes this big marketing thing, which I'm reading book after book after book on, and just wow. But we also have another donation. I have another donation from Chuck. Come on. Chuck is giving blood today. Thank you for doing that. Listening but not participating. Thank you, Chuck, for the $20.80 donation. And thank you for giving blood today. Very much appreciated. Also want to thank all my moderators out there. and I'm getting too many to name, but you can see the little mechanics symbol next to them in the YouTube live chat. So thank you all. So was Jill also said Konami Triple Sparkle. Jan says Red Ruby 5, 5 real traditional slots. Slots of Fun says Plinko and Wheel of Fortune. Now, Slots of Fun is one of my moderators, but I personally, my favorite is Wheel of Fortune, not because it wins, but because I enjoy in. Wow, Jill. And Magpie says Lightning Link, but my favorite is Wheel of Fortune, not because I win on them when I go to a casino and see them, but rather because it's the topic we're talking about today. The ones I found were the ones I won on. See, it's a kind of different order from what a lot of people do. We'll talk about that, exactly why. And Jill, I don't know if I could share your comment. Yeah. Belina, yes, I have all kinds of stuff about Las Vegas. It is one of my more popular topics to discuss, particularly in consultations. People say, I'm going in a week. I'd like to be able to come up with a plan before going. And then I get so many comments like you, where I have, was it called 7 Secrets to Your Las Vegas Visit, videos and articles. And there's stuff in there where people are like, I wish I knew this before I went. And I'm like, sorry, I'm trying to get the word out. I'm sorry you did not win a darn thing. We could talk about that if you want. Ooh, Serenity has got a list. Mega Meltdown, Mega Vault, Buffalo Gold, Wolf Run Gold. Buffalo Gold is mentioned twice. If you mention it twice, I'm going to say that's the one you love the most. Dancing Drums Explosion. Yes. Wheel of Fortune, interestingly enough, if you go to the IGT webpage, and they allow you, even if you're not a vendor, even if you're not a casino or have an account with them because you own a slot machine or work for somebody who does, you have access to be able to search. He was giving me a message. What? Close. Okay. If you go to IGT, you can see how many different versions of their games exist, not just different denominations, which they'll list, but different, like you said, uh, let's see, Serenity said Dancing Drums Explosion versus Dancing Drum something else, something else, something else. So there's Wheel of Fortune. The last time I checked, it was 483 different versions of Wheel of Fortune. And a few of them were like 3 credits, but some of them were 2 credits. Okay, that's a difference. But then some were $10 and some were, penny slots. Okay, that's a difference. But 483 different versions. It lists the different names, and it was Wheel of Fortune and then a different name. And that's a lot. So they really capitalized this. And lots of questions coming. So let's how this works is I talk about a topic, and it's all related here, and then I do that for maybe 20 minutes, and then I take questions for like the remainder of the 2 hours or up to 2 hours, because that's how long my voice will last. Okay, so how do you win on your favorite slot machine game theme? Well, I'll tell you, it requires a better understanding of how slot machines are set up by casinos. If you're, if you're if you watched just about any of my 150 prior live streams, more than 150 prior live streams over the last nearly 3 years, you probably know what I'm going to say, although I'll expand on it a bit more than I ever have before. But if you're a new viewer to my channel, prepare to have your mind blown. Any slot tech will tell you that slot machines are set with a specific theoretical payout. Before a decade ago, each slot machine was set manually. A slot machine opened the big door on a physical real slot machine and punched in a new code as directed by casino management. Oh, and they did a few other things like logging. They'd open the machine and regular maintenance like cleaning the air filters. Pretty menial work, really. But that code they entered was chosen by casino management from a booklet provided by the slot machine manufacturer for that specific slot machine. In that code, what it meant was unknown to the slot tech. The casino said, enter this code on this machine, and the slot tech had her marching orders. Now, observant slot techs exist. Some of them know more than their certificate training. Some know more than their on-the-job training. Many of them have reached out to me to tell me how right I am, but they weren't told this in their training. Like me, they figured it out through observation and experience. They went looking for it. Also education, at least for me. And some experience counts, education counts together. But some workers have a job to do, which mostly consists of getting a paycheck and being able to go home. That's true in every industry. I certainly saw that in the aerospace industry, and before that, while earning my many undergraduate degrees, 5, and saw more of that saw more of that with my graduate degrees, 3, including an engineering doctorate. You know who I mean. Workers or students who are just there to show up, and then there are those that care. Those that are driven to degree after degree, to having a safe career, and then pushing themselves to be an entrepreneur. And some few slot techs are like this too. They are more than their training. Those are the ones that reach out to me. I should say I'm not making any judgments here. Choosing to work with the goal of going home is fine. Family is very important, but it's not me. I mean, family is really important. They're even on the live stream, but just going to work to go home is not me. And I think it's not you either. What did those slots techs see back when they physically opened and entered the code as directed? Not much, because they didn't know if the code used was for higher or lower odds of winning. But remember, some slot techs watch and learn and think. And some realized that a row of the same slot machine game themes all had the same code entered, except one or two, perhaps on the end of rows. It wouldn't take much to make that connection to realize those are the machines that were set with higher odds, while the rest with the other code, many with the same code, were not. So yes, they weren't trusted enough by casino management to have knowledge of which code was the one with the better odds, which is the one for the better odds. Something casino management would never want to share with their 10 or so slot techs working 3 shifts at their casino. Let's make an easy engineering estimate. 10 active slot techs at approximately 1,000 US casinos is 10,000 working slot techs in the US, with maybe 4 times that retired or having chosen to go to college and get a degree. So 50,000 slot techs in the US, some working, the rest not. That's far too many for casino management to trust to keep a secret like slot machine odds. So they don't. But that's another topic for a different live stream. Casino management sets the odds on slot machines. There's a myth out there that the state gaming commission sets the odds. That's very rare. As I was just discussing with somebody earlier on comments on Facebook, you know who you are. Every state is special. We were talking about New Hampshire, which prohibits slot machines, but they do have games of chance like video poker. Anyway, and bingo. But state gaming commissions setting the odds for casinos, not a range, but a number, is very rare. Rhode Island does that for its 2 casinos, or so their gaming commission claims, but seems to be a little vague about the terminology and how they say it. It's hard to pin them down. And of course, Illinois does it for slot machines in bars and taverns. So bars and taverns don't control the odds of their 5 machines and therefore the state budget. So in 14 states, gaming regulations exist which define a maximum theoretical limit. This is very important. Okay, this is on topic. 14 states define a maximum theoretical limit. Legal statute, casinos cannot go past. For 30 states, legal statutes exist which require a minimum theoretical limit. That's it. The state, and not all of them, define limits. The minimum limits are not used because they are far lower than a successful casino would ever use and still have players come in. For instance, Nevada has a 75% minimum theoretical payout limit, but no maximum theoretical payout limit, and its monthly returns average around 93%. It's the 14 states with maximum theoretical limits, usually around 100%, which casinos hate. Players hate, but casinos hate them more. That legal limit, assuming it's per wager, like it is in Nevada for its minimum theoretical limit, is a real killer for setting up a winning machine. But if that law says it's over the lifetime of the machine, that's something casinos can work with. And so, and that's how you win on your favorite slot machine. If you are in a state without a maximum theoretical payout limit, you're golden. And if put that away. Yeah. And if you're in a state without, if you're in a state that has that maximum limit over the lifetime of the machine, like Virginia and other states, then you're still golden. Casinos have to kind of jump through a few hoops, but they're not prohibited legally. But not if you're in Pennsylvania or Iowa, which has a maximum theoretical limit of 100%, or a little bit less for Pennsylvania, and the law states it's per wager. If you love a slot machine game theme, and all this is available for free on my articles for every state, 50 states, 5 U.S. territories, 1 federal district. Just go to professorslots.com/the 2-letter postal designation. And if you love a slot machine game theme, you need to figure out which one of those machines, maybe 2, maybe none, which of those machines has been set as a winner. But you can only do this if you're in a state that allows casinos to do it. Casinos want to do it, and they will only. I've been to maybe 50 casinos, and I did not see it in one of them. And they have updated, so they have it. And that was Delta Downs last year in Louisiana, and they've renovated, and now they do it. So it's common. If you so check your state, professorslots.com/2-letter postal designation for your state, and it's right there under theoretical payout limits and return statistics. See if what the limit is. See if you've got a snowball chance and to be able to use this technique. Now, and casinos love it. They have solid business reasons for doing it, but remember, it's all on a budget. If you ever know anything about casinos, there's a budget. So it's on a budget. Of course it is. Some casinos, like Harrah's North Kansas City, have set higher odds on their most visible slot machines. Same with MGM Grand Detroit. Both casinos I've been to and spotted these and figured them out, which you can do. With practice, it gets faster. For me, it takes a couple hours. Same with MGM Grand Detroit. But then casinos like Soaring Eagle have more than just 2-3 machines. Soaring Eagle in Michigan, which happens to be tribal, has it on every end of row machine. So, how do you figure out which of your beloved slot machines is the winner? Well, which one is played first? Which one always has someone playing it? Because what I've explained isn't a big secret. Why is a secret, but that machine is winning isn't. People spot this. People can see it. You can see this, but others have before you. So becomes this whole application issue, which is, okay, that's the one that's always being played. And funny, it's always the same person. How do you get on that machine? Well, that's a different topic. Go when they're not there. Find out when they come in 10 minutes earlier, and and see what they do to get you off. Maybe you can use that technique. There's black hat approaches, which I don't. It's not my brand to recommend. Where abuse and other things are. It's just you can find out how to get on those machines, and if it's impossible, then it's impossible. But you can find other machines that are like this. There's 3 or 4 machines in your casino, and it's a great strategy when it works. It is not hard to see this. And you might even get away from the slot machines that you love the most, and find those machines. This is all workable. This is all something that you can do. But if you're in a state that has a maximum theoretical limit by law per wager, your casino is just chomping at the bit. They're just like, what can we do? What can we do? Iowa casinos are like that. They're just like, you're killing our marketing efforts here. You're blocking our being able to set one machine to win so that everybody gets excited and spends money. You're just hurting us financially, saying that to the state. And the state says, it's almost fair in Iowa playing slots. It's almost fair. And I don't like fair. I like them to try to take advantage because it's so easy to turn the tables on them and take advantage of the casino. But if, they hate it when they can't set a machine to win. I hate it when I can't find the machine that's set to win because they don't do it. It can't. Everybody's sort of like really kind of, concerned about this sort of thing. So because gaming regs are fair in Iowa, darn it. So questions, right? So what I usually do is I talk for 20, 25 minutes, sometimes 15. So I will be available to answer questions for the next hour and 35 minutes. But then my voice starts to give out, which you can sometimes hear the next day when I record videos. And it's all because of the live streams, my 3 live streams per week. So let's check with the questions. And I think we had one early on from Jill. Minutes, half an hour, something, um, before the live stream started. 20 minutes, sorry, 20 minutes before the live stream started. You can start putting them in there. And so I'll get to them. Okay, Jill. Jill's question is, when a slot attendant stands near me with a tablet, can he change the odds of the machine I am currently playing? Yes. However, there's a multiple problems with this, and it's not problems legally. It's not problems with the slot tech. It's not problems with you. It's problems that the casino has. One thing they don't like to do is give slot techs any power. Okay. More than likely, that tablet is for recording things that the casino needs to have recorded. What is the current progressive amount on particular jackpots and the machine that you're playing? Sometimes they like to record those things because they know when somebody wins because they hand out a hand pay, but they don't know how quickly it's climbing. Makes sense, between when it was at its lowest level and when it paid out, and they want to see how that progression is going. So sometimes they write those numbers down. I don't like it when slot techs are like watching me and they've got a tablet, a computer, and I'm just like, that's not good. So I completely get the feeling, and casinos should recognize that as well. That's poor customer service, because what else are you going to think? Particularly, if you don't win, then what is your natural thought? And that's a goes back to reputation of the casino. So they are very sensitive to developing a bad reputation. So they would not want to have that person be there to change the odds, because word gets out and they lose more money than they would have made from changing it so you didn't win. Okay, the next problem with doing this, even though it's possible, the next problem is, what do they change it to? I mean, would they set it so that you won? Nobody ever says that, by the way. When people ask this question, nobody says, "Well, darn it, they set it to win," because they could set it to win. If it's possible to set it to lose, they could set it to win. And my point that I'm trying to make here is the casino has a budget. The casino has its plans, its promises to investors about how much money they make. And a lot of assumptions by a lot of slot players are that, well, they'll just take money. They'll just take, no, 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 sorry. It's not, that ruins the reputation if all they do is take money and nobody wins, even if it's legally possible within the state. And in those states which it's not legally possible because there's a lower theoretical limit, then they legally cannot set it below a certain point. So all this becomes, the dangers of having that individual there and how it hurts the casino. My last point is, they don't know what to set their numbers to, because let's say that they are really aggressive about people losing, okay, but they've got a minimum theoretical limit that they must stay above. So they're always going to be a hair above that number, and having slot techs go out and set your wins, to be killed off, what does that do? Will they drop below the legal limit and get a $3 million fine, or more? The gaming commission's fine for this stuff, and they do it enough, and the casino will be shut down. Although nobody wants that, even the state, because all that taxes are coming in. So, yeah, if they change the odds, what should they change the odds to? And the technical issue with all of that is the casino doesn't know. It's something called real-time analysis. It doesn't exist. Not for 2,000, 3,000 slot machines and table game chips that have to be counted. It all takes hours, about 4 hours. In a year, it might be 3. And that's when they will know what to set your machine at, and by then you're long gone. And that's my answer to your question. Yes, they can do that, but there's all kinds of difficulties, including what kind of hurt could they put themselves into, and even why. Everybody says, well, naturally they're just set it to lose, but they've got legal limits, they've got investors' promises, and if you tell your investors, any business, right? You tell your investors, this is how much we're going to get, and then they exceed their promises, that's bad, because the investors are like, so we just do that from now on. And the casino's like, we were going to use that to buy more machines. Darn it. And all kinds of problems start after that. And yeah, so businesses, that's business operate. Yeah, your follow-up point was, noticed a couple times when I was winning, saw Attendant with a tablet in the air looking at me, the winning streak dries up, coincidence, I don't believe it. And I believe you. And watch for that and don't waste your money. All right. When they show up, be conscious of how things are going. And if it happens every time, casinos there's two things that you need to remember about casinos. The first is they are cheap. They won't spend a dime if they don't have to. That's one. Second, they're stupid. They will not spend a dime when they don't have to, and even if it hurts them, for a monthly gain, for a daily gain, they'll shoot themselves in the foot for a quarterly report. Long-term reputation, that's long-term. We need to make our numbers for this today. And that's short-sighted thinking that we see a lot in business elsewhere. Yes, I have a question from somebody else, which we may get to if there's a shortage of questions about tip percentages. Magpie says, most of my slot attendants want me to win because I'm a good tipper. How's that? This is Magpie. We've been talking for a year or more, and she starts to notice these things, like make them happy. Make them happy. I got a really good question about this. Maybe we'll get to it this time. Maybe we'll get to it next time about that. And I think there was a donation. Yes, John. Thank you, John. So much. First donation, $20.01. Your teaching has improved my slots play. Thank you, John. You're very welcome, John. Great name, by the way. We have the same first name, or the spelling. Thank you. And yes, please hit the like button here. And say hello to my cat over here on the couch. She's looking all cute. Right there. And I got the dog on the floor in front of her. Can you see that? Kind of right there. There he is. They're buddies. She's in charge, but they're buddies. Let's see what else. Anybody else mentioned different machines? I think I said all that. Hi, Steve. Welcome. I think I mentioned Red Ruby, Konami Triple Sparkle, Lightning Link. And John says, God of Gold, hand pay last night. Congratulations. Yep. And Belina went to Vegas. Sorry, I'm trying to get the word out to let people know. If you go to my channel, use the search and type in Vegas, you'll find, or just go to the playlist and you'll see one all about Vegas. It's about what to do before your trip, during your trip, after your trip, a bunch of different secrets. Right. Jill has another question. Are you a friend of the one-line betting method? I basically am. I'm basically two people. Personally and professionally. Okay. Personally, max bet, all the lines I can get, and also high limit. But professionally, most people aren't high limit. And I see this trend about, well, Brian Christopher started with $5 bets with his maximum bet, but now he's doing $10,000 a day per trip, that sort of thing. It's just seems to be everybody's climbing. And the people who have $100, $200, $300 bankroll to go to the casino with, seems like the casino is. I have an article that just came out on it's just like the rising costs and minimum bets increasing, and so people with the $100, $200, $300 bankroll seem to be being edged out. And so I there's so many more slots players who have that amount of money that personally I go to a casino, try to go at the same time, usually on a Sunday, with $300 and stay for about 2 to 3 hours. And I do casino trip reports. And if it's the same day of the week, same time, length of time, same bankroll, then I can compare one trip to the next, to the next, to the next. And so I have a bunch of articles on my casino trip reports, and I try to go to new to me casinos. And that's what I do. Professionally, minimum bets, except occasionally I answer questions, and some of them have people have questions about, is there a difference between minimum bets and maximum bets? So I'll do that, but generally it's minimum bets, and that's that would be the one line method. Why are there so many Buffalo slots? It's popular. It's popular. It's not popular everywhere, but it's popular at the casinos where you find that. Okay. Second thing is, if you buy more than one of something, you get a discount when you buy in bulk. And with that combination of casinos knowing darn well that everybody wants to have Buffalo Gold, then the slot machine manufacturer says 10 for the price of 8. And that sort of bargain is hard to pass up. Win-win for casino and slot machine manufacturer. Popularity, yeah. People love the Buffalo, as Minka says. People love the Buffalo, not as much as they used to. Yeah, a Buffalo link 2. Lisa says, good. Diddler says, hi, Professor Slots. Is it better to max bet on a feature slot on a lower limit? Let's say $10 bet on a 1 cent denomination, or versus $10 on a 2 cent or 5 cent denomination, but you're missing the feature. Okay. You've got like 3 things going on in that question. So I'll try to address them separately so you can understand which one's bad and which one's good. Okay. Penny slots have terrible odds. It's a known thing by return statistics. This is not a guess. This is return statistics from 6 states that provide, of the 20 that provide monthly return statistics, and 6 of them provide broken down by slot machine denomination, or multi-denomination, or progressives, but they break it down to be more than one number for the month, but rather a whole list. And we go to Mississippi, go to Nevada, return statistics, again, professorslots.com/ and then the 2-letter postal designation. That's where you'll find the links. So just click this, go there. There's the PDF full of numbers and fascinating numbers. And when you go and you do that, you'll see that penny slots have been like the worst since the data was recorded. I remember one time was it Central City in Colorado, 1 month, the penny slot denomination wasn't the worst. It was second worst. And I was like, wow, I guess there's an exception to every rule. But, it's something to avoid. Now, there's so many penny slots that you can find a winning penny slot machine, as this topic that we talked about today shows it's possible. But you kind of want to improve your baseline. If you're on a multi-denomination machine, which we're all kind of like switching to, which has a 1 cent, 2 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, don't play with 1 cent just to improve your odds. Maybe half the credits on a 2 cent, so you're not spending more than you were on 1 cent denomination, and you just across the board, you're better off on any of the other 2 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent denominations. So that's the first part. And if you, yes, yes, absolutely. Now, actually, there was two things you were saying. So you're missing the feature. That feature probably means bonus round. Okay, and bonus rounds don't get excited. Don't get excited because bonus rounds are terrible lately. I've tried to explain this multiple times. People, players commented on online comment box, whatever, more bonus rounds. And the casinos got the message and they forwarded that message to slot machine manufacturers. And the slot machine manufacturers and the casino individuals in marketing kind of looked each other in the eye during a Zoom meeting and they went, we can give people more bonus rounds. After all, they didn't ask for money. They just asked for bonus rounds. So we can do that. If you win a bonus round on a slot machine, it takes time for the bonus round, unless you prevent it. You can tap the button and it's all over. Usually, sometimes faster, sometimes all over. But when the bonus round is running, that slot machine is not making money for the casino. The casino only makes money when a bet is made. And some of these bonus rounds with 300 trigger, retrigger, can last half an hour. And basically that machine is not making money for half an hour. That's not something the casino wants. So why should they also give you money at the same time? They're already losing money. So why don't they just take back what they won, what you won, and just make it like $4.75 for 20 minutes of bonus rounds? Because you got what you wanted. You wanted a bonus round. You got the bonus round. Oh, did you want money too? Well, you didn't say that. This is the logic of I just think I did mention casinos are stupid. And there's a lot of people who are very upset about this whole, so I got bonus rounds now and I'm not winning. What? It's going to get worse before it gets better, if it ever gets better. One of the things that's making its way from online slots into casinos is slot machine manufacturers are providing the option to, it used to be like 88 cents minimum bets on a penny machine. Then it was $8.80 and maximum bets, and now it's $10 maximum bets. Well, they're going to add a feature where you can pay $35 and you will be guaranteed a bonus round. You'll buy a bonus round, which might net you something less than $35, because that's how bonus rounds are working lately. Yeah. And Belina says, I really like the Simpsons slot machine. Yeah. Lisa says the Cheers TV show slot machine I love, but can't find it anywhere anymore. Yeah, popularity kind of goes away. The original Wonder Woman, that I've still seen that lately. And Sandy says, how long would you stay on a machine hoping it will hit? So I have something called the tough love approach, which is make 10 bets. And if you win anything at all, make another 10 bets for 20 total bets. Then at 20 total bets, and if you don't win anything within the first 10 bets, leave. Tough love. But at 20 bets, you have to decide, did I win enough that I would stay? Not did I win, but did I win enough that I'm not hoping it's a winning machine, but it is a winning machine. Okay, tough love. And then go to 50 bets, another 30 bets for 50 bets total. And then at 50 bets, say, am I winning? Is it a winning machine? Not, do I hope it is, and I've got a good feeling that it might become one? No, is it? And if it is, continue. But if it isn't, you're out of there. Tough love. So at 50 bets, go to 100 bets. I mean, 50 more bets to bring your total to 100 bets. And then ask yourself that again. Is it a winner or is it not a winner? And then if it is, you're on your own after that. But if it isn't, you're out of there. And it's my tough love approach. I have sat with Chuck, who's giving blood today, at Ameristar in Missouri, and we were doing this tough love approach. I hadn't yet come up with the name, and we got there was 3 machines in a row near the entrance. We played one, then the next, we only won on one, and on 2 of them, nothing. On the one, it was a line bet, a line win, and 2 bonus rounds. And I was just like, well, this is the one, right? Those other 2 are not. Do you think that we won? But do you think that we won enough, Chuck? Because tough love approach is, did I win enough to get me to stay? And I was just like, 2 bonus rounds and a line hit. Good to me. But I was leaving that decision up to Chuck, and Chuck said, I would have preferred 3 bonus rounds. Okay. So we left. So you decide if it's enough. Tough love. Right. Zach says, make sure you use hashtag question so I can spot your question. Lots of comments coming through. And so question, how did a deer just run by? Okay, sorry. Squirrel. Zach says, question, how long dollar amount should I stay on a machine before moving to a new machine if not winning? 10 bets. I refuse to tell people how much money to spend. I don't think that's my responsibility. You have your own budget. I think that a couple of thoughts about this. First is my golden rule of slots, which is only bring to the casino as much money as you can comfortably afford to lose. So I'm not in charge of your budget. Don't let anybody else be in charge of your budget, even the casino, even other slots channels. Oh my God, it's just like, wow. When I see that, I'm just horrified. You know how much money you can comfortably afford to spend. But I like to find 10 bets. All right. Minimum, maximum, whatever denomination, it needs to fit within your budget. But I like to make my decision with 10 bets. And if it's, 60-cent bets each time, that's what, $6. But then if it's maximum bets of, on a $10 machine with 3 credits, $30, and 10 bets, that's $300. It's all budget's on you. Okay. And so 10 bets. That's how long I like to see if I should move to a new machine. It's tough. It's tough love. Yeah. Does Mike have a separate question? My length of stay set according to my budget. Yes. If I have $500, what I like to do is divide what I brought, and you've said what you brought, by 100. Okay. So, and this is how a different way to evaluate a slot machine. If you said, I'm not sure about your numbers, you said $500. And if you want to evaluate one slot machine, then you could potentially, with a tough love method, go up to 100 bets. But you wouldn't go to 100 bets. You'd stop at 10 You'd stop at 20, you'd stop at 50, or you stop at 100. So you wouldn't spend the whole $500, but you need to be prepared to go to 100 bets. So your minimum bet would be $5 to evaluate one machine. If you made your minimum bet $1, then you could potentially evaluate 5 machines by going to 100 bets. It's all right. So with $500, that's actually a lot of flexibility. There's this whole never been to this casino before, randomly pick slot machines, and you are the random generator by doing that. And so you aren't using any of my techniques. You just that one, and then you go play it. And that is a way to lose your $500. But if you do happen to win on it, then the next time you go to that casino, you go back to that machine, or you use my techniques for a new to me casino in all the casino trip reports reviews that I offer. And if you happen to go to one of those casinos, then you can start with prior knowledge and give yourself an advantage over the casino, even if you've never been there before, because you're looking for something and you get better at it with practice. So, yeah, I'm kind of threw you in the deep end of the pool there, Mike. I hope that helps. So you also said do 5 spins. Good. It's a great evaluation technique. Move to a different kind of machine that I'm familiar with. You know, be careful of player appeal, which isn't the same as I win on this machine. I like this machine. I win on this machine. But the question I haven't seen an answer to at the very beginning of this live stream was, what's your favorite machine? And I have spent years answering that question with ones I win on. I haven't seen that answer yet. Maybe it's further down in the live stream, live chat. And so, yeah, if you're familiar with the machine, I know that makes people feel good. They have an idea of kind of what's going to happen and how to use it. The buttons can get pretty strange and confusing, which is part of the whole marketing slot manufacturing plan. Is if you don't know what you're doing, you'll waste money. And so that is, I understand familiar, appreciate familiar, but remember to separate that out from winning machines. If you care. If you want to have maximum fun, go to machines you're familiar with. If you want to have your gambling goal of primarily being making money, or even secondary, or even tertiary, you might want to play the machines you win on. Yeah, and remember. So I see a couple comments about WinStar and Choctaw. It's people say WinStar is the largest casino in the world. It isn't. It's Choctaw Durant. Unless they finished that additional construction at WinStar, and then it is. But then if Choctaw Durant finishes their next construction project, which is already underway, then they are. And it goes back and forth between the two of them as to which was the best. Over in Connecticut, Mohegan Sun and Foxwoods did the same thing. That competition made Foxwoods the second largest casino in the world before WinStar was built. And that was only less than 10 years ago. No, 6. And so, that is a lot of competition. And your second question was there, Indian casinos, can they really be fined? Sure, there's all kinds of rules. In fact, there's worse, more strict, awful, terrible, dangerous rules for tribal casinos. If a commercial casino is fined, if it's closed, then they go elsewhere. They do something else. The city is not hurt. um, uh, even if it's kind of like the big employer, because it isn't. There's multiple industries in most towns. I grew up in one that happened to not have more than one big company. Flint, Michigan had General Motors. And that was apparently unusual. I didn't know that growing up. Hershey, Pennsylvania has multiple big businesses, but they're all in chocolate. and and of course, there's shops where you get your haircut and all that other stuff. But um, uh, tribal casinos usually are on reservations, and it's usually their only big business, and everybody will work there in some form of capacity, and it pays for street paving. It pays for all these other things. I know there's federally recognized tribes have other benefits that they get, but if that casino closes, if that casino is fined, it devastates the community. It's really, they don't want to be fined. And commercial casinos are like, well, I guess it just kind of affects the profits, I suppose, and we really should, but they budget it. Tribal casinos are just like, "Geesh, ouch, that stung a bit," and that's important. Yeah. Yes, detailed answers. Some people call me PS because, I go on about stuff. Postscript. Okay, moving on. John, okay, that was a comment back and forth. Um, Hi, Joanna. Joanna. I have a moderator named Joanna. Hello, Joanne. And question from Angie. Uh, I see some of the the tech stick their player's card in the machine and record it. Um, so that's what I was kind of hinting about, or I kind of obscured that just a little bit. Um, in these machines, when they were physically opened, real machines were physically opened by slot techs who punched in a new code. Of course, there's alarms and there's keys, and they check for faults in the equipment to see what happened. So the older physical reels, which you can buy as antiques. Gambler's Paradise in Franklin, Ohio, offers those if they can be purchased privately in your state. They have a webpage about can it be, uh, and and etc. The owner's an interesting character. He's very accommodating, but uh, on the more recent, um, LCD displays on the inside of the machine, they need to check just hand pays without even opening up the machine. They need to check, was there an internal fault? I was at Horseshoe, Indianapolis, formerly known as Indiana Grand, and they had 10% of their slot machines broken, which I thought was the most fascinating thing, because they had work orders on the screens. And yes, you could see where somebody, and it was shattered. And okay, I see what the problem is there. But then there was other reasons it was broken, and I read the work order. I went around and nobody came up to me and said, "Don't do this." I made it at the end of my 2 to 3 hour trip, and I read the work order, took a few pictures. I won't show you them here because I don't want to get anybody in trouble at that casino, and including myself. But it was fascinating to read them. CPU issue, connection to internet connection, not internet connection, cable connection to central server. Descriptions of, it's a fault in the chip. It had all these different reasons for them being broken. The problem was that there's a chip shortage, there was a equipment shortage, there was a slot tech shortage, and but it didn't really explain why 10% of their machines, including in the high limit room, when you prioritize to fix the ones in the high limit room, something was going on where they just didn't pay for having all those machines down. And Indiana is very clear that they make $518 per machine in profit per day. And 10%, 1,500 machines, that's 150 machines being down was a lot of money every day. And I was just like blown away by that. So some of the stuff I see is just like, whew. So question, I'm in Massachusetts and go to all my area casinos in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut. So let me do this just for everybody. If you go to professorslots.com, there's one way to do this and there's another. So I'm going to type online-resource. I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty small if you're on a small phone. And you'll go to my page, my online resource for U.S. casino slots enthusiasts. And these are my 56 articles. You said Massachusetts. This is my Massachusetts article, which you can go directly to by saying professorslots.com/MA. And then legal statutes, slot machine private ownership, if you want to buy it, it has to be 30 years or older. A link to the gaming control board. Casinos, sometimes this is a longer section. Sometimes it's shorter with what the casinos are, casino map, a state map, where it is in the United States. There's also, because I can't go to every casino, I'm going through this a little thoroughly each for this one, but I'll go faster than the others because they're all set up the same way. I have a Facebook community on each state, and Professor Slots Enthusiasts, which has 18,000 more members, and also a Facebook profile, but you don't have to be a member to, and that's open to the public, which I am broadcasting right now too, streaming to right now. But because I can't go to every casino in the United States, if I went to 2 per week, it would take me 10 years to go to all 1,000 casinos. And since that wasn't last night, that wasn't like right now, I had set up Facebook groups for each state and go see what other people have said about your state, locals. They might be there last night, right now, plan on going tomorrow. This is where you get current information. Okay, and that's for all the different states. So monthly revenue reports are available from Mass Gaming, and you can go there and check. Just to click on that, it will go to the gaming control board. It will go to the reports, although it's got to load up. There it is. And so the revenue, this is massgaming.com. And you can check the revenue for, let's say you have a preference. You set all of them. So I'll just go to the first one. This is all of the information, but the very last one down here, I'll try to show this on the screen. You can see my mouse, right? And they don't provide they do provide the return. So the return for what was this? Encore Boston Harbor is 91.73% in July 2022. And sometimes they only provide coin in and how much was won. And sometimes you have to calculate the slot payout. And sometimes it's not the slot payout. Sometimes it's the casino hold. And so you have to subtract it from 100%. But this is a good example, 91.73. So if you were to go to MGM Springfield, 91.64, which is worse. Plain Ridge, 93.15. I had a client paid consultation recently, and they only went to the first 2 casinos, and I was like, it's like a whole point and a half better at that slots parlor. Maybe it doesn't have a buffet, maybe it doesn't have other, venue features, but the odds are better. And this is all deliberate. This is all choices made by each casino. So you can do that for Rhode Island, which has returns, and Connecticut, which has returns. And I even have some additional reports for the return to player, where I dig deeper into that. There's 20 states that offer that monthly returns, and I'm providing like once a month, each of those. I'm about halfway through. I think the next one is tomorrow. I'm coming out with the main video. The week after that is Maryland. And your cat Nutella says hi also. Nutella. Yes, this is Curie, Marie Curie, the discoverer of radiation. Isaac is there in I can't. Oh, let me. He's there. He is. He is Isaac Newton. I probably should call him Sir. And then I have a cat here. Thank you for being so accommodating. That's Emil. He's Emil Lenz. He is named after a physicist who discovered the induced electromagnetic field, which is a lot of big words, but it's the reason we have computer chips and everything that has computer chips in it. So kind of important, but you might not know that name unless you're a physicist or took physics or something. And Hedy Lamarr is usually somewhere else. So she's Hedy Lamarr invented Wi-Fi. She was also a famous movie star. And my Hedy Lamarr is camera shy. Hedy Lamarr, the actress, was the original inspiration to Walt Disney for Snow White. Black hair, red lips. And Jason. Jason is awesome. Sorry. He is. And Jason has a follow-up to Jill's. I thought the machine's payout percent could only change if the machine has not been played for 15 minutes, or can they actually change it while you are playing? So I have, I was told as a rumor 5 years ago, oh, they can't change it for until it's not being played for 15 minutes. And I was like, okay, well, 5 years ago, I was working through every state's gaming regulation. So, they told me it was a legal thing. Okay, well, I'll take it under advisement and I'd go looking. And I told a few people here, I think including you, 15 minutes is what I'm told is a legal requirement. But guess what? I never found it. I actually went to the 56 states, territories, and federal district and read the gaming regulations looking for that. I don't know them backwards and forwards. I know this parts about slots. There's plenty of other things that are in those gaming reports. Nothing like that was ever mentioned in any state. And so I'm like, okay, so that's a myth. It might still be true, but what it said was it was a law, and it isn't. That's progression in my knowledge base. And then I went and played, and I had taken advantage in 2004 of sitting down on a machine early in the morning and never taking my card out, never taking my money out, playing it the whole day through. On Derby Day was the one I remember the most, and winning. And I don't think that they wanted me to win anymore, but they would have had to have I would have had to have stopped for them to have made a change. This is all before central servers, and nobody came along and made that change. And so, yes, I saw some evidence that they wouldn't change it if I was playing it. And then in 2013, 2014, I saw that too, where the Cincinnati football team or baseball team or hockey team, they'd have a game, and the game would get out. Everybody came over to the next door casino across the street, and crowded people come in. And so it went from a slow morning to a busy evening. And I was there that whole day winning hand pay after hand pay, because I was on the same machine in the morning And as the day progressed, I stayed in that machine, never took my money out, didn't drink a lot of water so I wouldn't have to go anywhere. And, all the things you have to do to be able to do a, 12-hour stint at playing slots. Try to sneak a protein bar just to have something to eat, and you when I did all that, um, I continued to win even though there was a crowd, which normally if I showed up during the crowd, I wouldn't win. And it's all in my gambling records. But then I went to Rivers, Pittsburgh, and I went to other casinos lately, Miami Valley Gaming, and I would watch. You don't see the odds change, but you go, I just won for an hour on this winning machine, and now I have lost for the last 15 minutes. And I watched my watch, and what do you know? It happened on the hour. And other changes would take place where I didn't win less, but an hour's worth of many, 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 seriously, so many bonus rounds, one after the other, where I'd make a little bit of money and I was paying for my $300 bankroll for an hour on this machine. And then it came upon the half hour, and there were no more bonus rounds for the next half hour. But I was continuing to win with line hits. So, yeah, there was a time when it seemed to be that you had to get off the machine, pull your card out, have some quiet time. 15 minutes. Is any machine ever not played for 15 minutes during a busy night? It did kind of tweak me as being a little bit too much. This advice, it's always, if you want to go viral, if you want to have what you say be spread, the word spread, you use odd numbered numbers. and there's a whole way to make things go viral. And so, yeah. And thank you, Jason, for that donation. I very much appreciate it. Yeah. Kindred spirits. Okay. Is there a character limit on chat? Yes. If I were to type something, I think it comes up for me. Where is it? Oh, I'm doing a mode. I have to do the keyboard. 200 characters. If you are on Facebook, I think it's more. And if you're on LinkedIn and Twitter, they have their own limits as well. But if you're in the live chat, it is 200 characters. If you type longer in some of these other places, it'll actually make 2 comments, one after the other. You don't know. It's I guess it's only on the creator side of the live stream, which very clearly states 200. I can't set that. That is, I can set how long it is between comments, but I cannot change the characters. 200. Let's see. Triple Fortune Dragon, several variations. Bonus round wins have been terrible. It's like casinos are stupid. Not people there. They're just like making business decisions that are short term and not long term. But a lot of businesses are doing that. Question from Magpie. Is the number of spins in between bonuses or larger line hits relevant to the payout schedule of the server? I know that you're in Nevada, so no, because it's not over the lifetime of the machine. Well, how do I put this? In Nevada, the theoretical payout limit is per wager. So whatever, So whatever the setting is on the theoretical payout, I'm taking that legal statement and interpreting it, which is something to be careful about, which is, so the machine is not set with a limit. The machine is set with a particular number within the limit of 75% for Nevada. And the state law says per wager. So that interpretation by me is that when it's set to 93%, let's say that's state average on the returns, it's set to 93% per wager, then it must be set to that, just random, that theoretical payout. Now, what nobody gets, and takes a just little bit of math, is it's the theoretical payout is it's the reason why it's theoretical is not because it's a law. It's because it's the peak on a distribution. And it can be a peak that is a sharp peak, and it can be a hump, a wide peak. And anything before and after that, so the machines are not set to 93%. They're set to have a theoretical payout of 93%, which is a statistical term. So it's a distribution around that number per wager. I'm sorry. I all these people are listening to that and going, my head hurts. And I'm like, yes, I know. I've had so many statistics courses and my head always hurt. And it takes forever to get this drilled in. So there is a statistical center around that distribution. And I described a sharp peak and I described a wide peak. It's actually a different distribution. There's many, but that's the one that people kind of think of when they think distribution. So, it is kind of the center number. And you're talking about, is it a wide peak where it's fewer spins between hits? Or is it a narrow peak when it's more? No, actually, I think I got that backwards. The wider peak is wider, more number of spins between a hit, and the narrow peak is, it's going to be once, 3 out of 4 times for 75%, 9 out of 10 times for 90%, and it's going to be boom, 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 9 out of 10 times. It's going to be the amount that you won will be a 90% return. But as that opens up, it can be delayed for a while. I hope this helps. It's statistics. The second part is a number of spins between bonuses or larger line hits relevant to the payout schedule of the server. With all that being said, this is kind of a discussion about volatility, but it's not the volatility that everybody talks about. I'm going to use a few statistical terms. When you have a peak, that peak is basically something called an average, also known as an expectation value. When you have something that's wide versus something that's a peak that's narrow as far as a peak, that width has something is basically, one type would be standard deviation, but every standard deviation equation is different depending on the type of curve. But if it's narrow, it's one thing. If it's wide, it's larger value, and that is more generally known as a variance in statistics. And variance is volatility, except nobody else on the slots channel seems to recognize that. When somebody uses volatility for a table game, they know. But when they use volatility for a slot machine, they say, well, I'm getting a lot of small hits. And so they make a statement about volatility and they would be right. But then they say, I'm not winning. Therefore, it has the other end of the volatility, which is, no, it isn't like well, I stayed not winning and then I won big, they just say, I'm not winning. And so it's kind of like a misunderstanding of volatility. Magpie, I'm sorry I had to go to statistics to answer your question. It's all there. Yeah. Mika says that she's seen buy a bonus machines. That's right. There are lots of features that slot machine manufacturers are trying to hand over to casinos and saying, we think this is going to be hot, fantastic. People are going to make it, so that they love, today's theme, love this slot machine game theme. And they have like a 1 out of 10 success rate. And so they're trying out, things that people love on online games don't work in the casino and vice versa, but it's something to work with and see if it does work. Many people are like, don't like the buy a bonus machines. Yeah. Hey, Grant, longtime watcher. First question asker. Hey, what do you think of the lock and link machines? Never tried them out, but they seem very popular. I like the idea that the casino sees that they're popular. I like the idea that they will try to do something about that. It means that somewhere there's a row of those machines. And if there's a row of those machines and they're popular, then the casino is more likely to set up one of them to be a winner. That's what I think about lock and link machines. It's what I think of all popular machines. Now, there's something else, which is advantage plays, and advantage plays do happen, not as often as people think. Like there's no advantage to dancing drums. It just indicates a way of filling a bucket with animation that makes people think it's an advantage play. But if you read carefully the game rules, it isn't. But there are other games, and so in my Slots IQ group, we used to have an individual who was all about the advantage games, all about, which games actually have an advantage, which games have better advantages or lesser advantages, and no advantages, except people think it has advantages. And so you get these groups of people kind of like lurking in casinos, watching others play, and it's all kind of a thing. I don't know if there is an advantage play to lock and link machines, but you might want to search for that. Because when it exists and it actually exists instead of just being rumored to exist, which has been a theme for today's live stream. Yeah. Yamava, location. That's what I used to call it. Now I call it highly visible locations, but there's a real estate joke. What's the three most important things about real estate? Location. So that joke got a little bit old, and works great at Yamava. Yeah, I'm excellent. Yeah. A comment from Joe. My biggest disappointment with slots is playing a mid-level bet and playing continuously until getting a bonus. Then the bonus comes and you win a few dollars more than your bet. Yep. It is not popular. The casinos took the suggestions from players to have more bonuses, handed it off to slot machine manufacturers. Slot machine manufacturers looked casinos in the eye and said, let's just give them more bonuses and not more wins. And, hurt everybody, hurt the market, hurt casinos' reputations, and by making players mad, all because, they just, what do they call that? Gotcha is like a phrase lately. Gotcha. And it's just like, dude, we won't go to your casino anymore because you got us all right. Yeah, it's just sad. Question. Sales, I don't see a question, but okay. How can I tell the difference between temptation to go and play slots versus intuition telling me to play slots in order to win good today? That is a very good question. I had a paid consultation recently who was like, I don't like to think about playing slots because I do better. not thinking about slots. And I didn't want to mess them up. You know, if it works for you, it works for you. Now, I've had people tell me they're psychics. I've had people tell me that they're ESP. Technically, I thought you had to do that with another living being and not a machine, but okay. And who am I? No harm, no foul. I'm not gonna, you know. But the fact is that we have great intuition because all of our ancestors lived long enough to continue that with children, and that all had an effect. I have a huge amount of respect for the intuition that you have, that I have, that we all have. A lot of people don't recognize how useful, how helpful, how great all that is. And so if your intuition is working and helping you win, great. But then you have to sort of balance that by making some thoughtful decisions, not tossing it out, not tossing out the baby with the bathwater. And you sort of have to look around and say, how can I help my intuition? Because you developed your intuition. Like there's I've met plenty of students who are just like, well, I think this and I think this, because they saw a professor or a student who had been studying something for a while, and they had credibility. But then there's these naive people that say, well, you're just making stuff up. And I can do that, they say. And then they proceed to do that. And that's not intuition. Intuition is hard won. It's a thing. But faking it, well, it doesn't last long because people get a bad reputation because of lack of intuition. I see that a lot. And that's sad. It's hard won and it's a thing. Your intuition is great, but if you can sort of like modify it to say, my reports, my statistics, my data, my state regs help inform my intuition. That's what you need. Yeah. It's not one or the other. It's what works, and then you try to help what works. Hope that helps. Question: what are your top 3 best games to play for good payout? What are your 3 worst games to pay out? I don't believe in game themes. They don't matter. What does the casino set them to? If they're popular, and popularity changes all the time, then the casino will have some marketing practices that you are able to take advantage of. Game themes, there's a couple of progressive games that have a must pay by, so it's more of a game type that has information that we can take advantage of. There are a couple of games that do actually have in the game rules leftovers from the prior player, who, if they didn't recognize that they were building up like a bank in the machine and then just walk away, there's all these other people that know that game has that, and they will jump on it and have fisticuffs to get on it because that previous player had built up a bank, which the next player can then recoup, all the while the casino is making money. And so outside of advantage plays, I don't care. I like machines that are set up to win, and popular ones have reasons to go for it. There's games that are based on TV shows, but there's licensing. Somebody's got to pay for that, and you can bet one of those people is most likely going to be the player. So yeah, I have 3 best games, 3 worst games. Where's the edge of the universe, or where's the edge of the planet? Sorry, I can't tell you. Hi, Patrick. I don't know if you have a question. Bet too low, I get no bonus, and bet too high, I get no bonus. Seems like overall my best opinion is to bet in the middle. Thoughts? I've played minimum bets and slowly increased my bankroll. Slowly. For an hour. And then for half an hour, I had mid-level bets. This is at Hollywood, Lawrenceburg, near the cafe. I have an article on it. Then for half an hour, I made minimum bets, $2.70 bets on a penny machine. And I basically cycled bankrolls. Didn't go up, didn't go down, kind of stayed the same. And then I went to maximum bets for another half an hour, and I lost. Bankroll went down. And this was a location found winning machine, and it went to a lot of wins at minimum bets that were about $20, enough that I was slowly increasing my bankroll, which took forever. But then I was making money, so I kind of had to balance that. And then breaking even at $2.70 bets, from 90-cent bets, and then at $4.50 bets at the maximum bets, 5 times more than minimum bets. I was still winning about as often, but the amount of wins were not $5 more. At minimum bets, I was winning about $20 every once in a while, and 5 times that, because I was making a 5 times bigger bet at $4.50 bets, the $20 did not become $100. It became $35. And it was just, slowly dwindling bankrolls. So I've seen minimum bets be a winner, middle bets be kind of cycling bankrolls, and maximum bets just not being there. It's something I need to, once I noticed that, I needed to go more and more casinos. So it's one of the things that I look at. I'd love to go to like 30 casinos and see if I can see that behavior before I start saying, it's more than just Hollywood, Lawrenceburg that has that. More casino trips. That's what I need. Homer has a question about video poker. Video poker jacks are better. How do you feel about playing a machine that is 9-6 in the middle of the row, at the middle of the floor, and only one set this high? Exactly. That's my biggest issue with video poker. And let me just be clear: video poker in Nevada, because of the Nevada, how do they call it? Statute revision, NSR, regulation 14 is gaming, section 0.040 is for slot machines, and paragraph 5 is for video poker and video keno, and basically video of any table game, video version of any table game. And it very clearly states in just a couple of sentences that the video version of a table game has the odds of the table game, which means no random number generator. It is set to mathematically provide the results of the table game. Boom. So in Nevada, video poker is not a slot machine. Outside of Nevada, they don't have that law. And because laws are hard to meet, it costs money. Then outside of Nevada, video poker is probably a slot machine. So where you are matter. But I always thought that, I love a casino with 1,500 slot machines. But you go to those that have them, and you find 20 video poker machines, and you're just like, well, there's this end of the row, and there's this end of the row, and then there's on the other side of the row, and that's it. It's not like you're walking through the casino trying to find a cafe for slot machines. It's a very limited selection. And that, would they even put them on those machines? So what I like to do is go to slot machines in the rest of the casino, see if the every end of row machine is a winner, or if those just by the escalator or the cafe or the entrance, whatever the most high traffic area is, if there's a winner, and evaluate whether or not that casino does that. And if they do it, usually they do it, is it 2 or 3 machines in the whole casino, or is it the end of row of every row, like Soaring Eagle in Michigan? But 2 or 3 machines at MGM Grand Detroit and other locations that I visited. And if it's the end of every row, for slot machines, then you have your answer. Could be the end of every row for video poker machines when there's 1 or 2 rows. There is, I talk about how you start with a baseline by being in a state that has a higher theoretical payout limit and doesn't have a maximum. That's a baseline on which you build. A point here, a point there, the denomination with the best payout in the data, for the last 20 years, which one is the worst? Don't do that one. Which one is the best? It's this one or that one. 5 nickel slots in Las Vegas is, I think, only like 140 machines on the entire Las Vegas Strip. Well, maybe it's worth looking for them because they have the highest odds, or they did. And so that's the sort of thing that you can build and build and build and build. And one of those things is not statistics. It's that it's a 9-6 machine. So you need to check that 9-6 machine by using video poker approaches with better odds and see if that improvement outmatches the ones on the end of the machine, end of the rows. Which one makes you more money? Casino's decision. You just have to figure out what the casino's decision was. Yeah, it's a balance. You like my cat names? Yep. Yes, my first cat was Albert, of course. Long ago. Steve, I'm glad to say, John, you really go into great explanations on how to better your slots play. Yeah, I don't want to talk about other slots channels. I used to, but it has not been a good experience. Yeah, I give long explanations. Ask anybody. There's many more questions. Let's see. Try to actually take a moment. Zach, question. Can I find the top 5 Wisconsin casinos by payout percentage anywhere on your website or the state websites? No. If you go to professorslots.com, and we'll do that very quickly. If you go to Wisconsin, there, you will find my article on Wisconsin. You go to the theoretical payouts all the way at the bottom, right there. And these are the payout limits. There is only one return statistics available. It is for all tribal casinos combined, and it's not monthly, but it's annual. That's what the laws are. The tribal state gaming compacts, the gaming commission, usually for enforcement for that sort of thing. Every state is special, and that's all you have available. So you do not know. Now, I've seen advertisements on some of the Wisconsin casinos saying we're the best of all the casinos, and I'm like, how do you even know that? Does the other tribe tell you that? Because you can't go to the state and find out. So what's going on? Are you having a meeting? Or are you in cahoots, or what's going on there? But so you got to watch out for those rumors. I love the state gaming regulations because it's reliable. Yeah. Sorry, I wish they had it. One of the things that I sometimes wonder if you guys might decide to make changes to your state by becoming the gaming commissioner, get yourself voted in or something like that, right? If you don't like it, call. I know Jason's doing that for Michigan. I haven't got an update on that recently, though, if he's still here. Steve says, is there information out there on how to find out what casinos have central service systems? I like to put this evidence online to end all the controversy once and for all. Casinos aren't going to share that. Why do you need to know? And if they did, we've talked about this many times. They've just switched to something else. It's important to have impossible questions to answer for them, and I don't want to go on about them. Where is the edge of the planet where you can fall off? You don't know, do you? Huh. Zach, what machines are better to play, Class 2 or Class 3, and why? Class 3 has a lot of different approaches to winning. Class 2 only has a very few, and most people don't have a choice between those Class 2 and Class 3. So for most people, they think Class 3, and that's where my focus has been on winning slots methods, because most people have access to Class 3 machines. Class 2, if you understand the difference, the biggest part, you sound like you're deep into it, which is good, but there are other people who are like Class 2, Class 3, and I try to tell them, yes, there's 2 classes, and you need to know the difference. And that is right at the edge of what they're able to do. If you have more than one winning, I'm going to try to answer this in the way of a metaphor, or an what is it? I want to say analogy, right? If you have a casino where you win, like I did, downtown Cincinnati, using my location method, and then you have a casino outside of Cincinnati, another casino, you have another casino, like I did at Belterra Park, where the 5-spin method worked. And if you tried to do the 5-spin method at the downtown Cincinnati casino, it wouldn't work. And if you tried to do the location at the Belterra Park at the time, it didn't work anything like the 5-spin method at Belterra Park. So so like you're saying Class 2, Class 3, which is better? And I say you can win on each in different ways. On which would you win more? Well, you have to check. At downtown Cincinnati, location was how I won more. But my initial attempts to use that at Belterra Park when I started going there failed. But I earned a lot of points, and then I won a car with it, so I'm not too concerned. But when I found out the 5-spin method worked, then I did that. So you have to find what works at your casino. What are you good at? And if there's something better, whether you should go for what's better. Class 2 machines, you can make a living at it by certain things that you can try to do. Class 3, there's a lot more options, and more options is better, I think. More likely to have a good outcome. Question from Magpie, follow-up. Is the server set per wager denomination of a multi-denomination machine? So each denomination of a multi-denomination machine has its own setting. So if it has its own setting, then it can be changed from that setting. A multi-denomination machine does not have a setup where you put in it once and it applies to all the denominations. Each of the denominations has to get its own setting. The casino could make it the same, but they have to enter it like 1 cent, 2 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent. They have to enter it 4 times, but they have to enter it the same for those 4 times. And they don't have to do that. Yeah. Doreen says, love Buffalo Link. Don't see a question there. Minkus has a question. So suddenly during Friday, Saturday evening, all the machines pay for about 10 to 20 minutes. Motivation maneuver, right? It's pretty obvious when you see it. I have one, Jason can back me up on this, one for Firekeepers in Michigan, Tribal Casino in Southeast Michigan, and at Firekeepers. And my article is, I don't think I have a video on it. I might have a video on it. talks about, Friday night observations, and the the casino employees are like, you want to wait in a couple hours and then it'll just be hopping. And I'm just like, there'll be more people. No, it's the same number of people. It just be hopping. And I'm like, my mind is blown, and they're looking at me like, huh? Absolutely. Whatever works. And then, of course, they turn it off and everybody keeps playing, and that's a lot of money. Hey, Jerry, good to see you again. What are your thoughts on sweepstakes casinos like Chumba? Have you tried it? In my state, it is not legal. Um, well, how do I put this? So online, there is social slots, which is on Facebook and all these different places. You can go to your restaurants, and they're on the how do you pay little terminals that are kind of floating around, battery powered. Uh, Social games, and it's not for real money. Then there's online games for real money, which has to be either legal, which I recommend the legal ones, because there's a lot of places that don't legally have that, and but you can still get access to it, and it's all kinds of problems, offshore accounts, and it's the Wild West, shoot 'em up sort of thing. And then there's Chumba, which is in between. And Chumba is based on sweepstakes. It's based on raffle uh, gaming for your state. And so they are everywhere because you can have social games, online social games everywhere. But then they pay out real money in those states that have raffle laws, which allow them to do that. So there's sort of a hybrid of the two different types of online games, which they don't have the real money version of in Chumba. If you have any questions about this, their frequently asked questions page is clearly states all of this, which I'm conveying to you. That you apply, you can play right off because it's social gaming. But if you want to get a deposit back because you won, then you have to apply with all the pertinent information, bank account, and all that stuff, which of course is scary. But they also have to check to see if your state will allow it. And then it's shut off if your state decides to change the law, and because they constantly keep up with it and that sort of thing. So you see which one your state can do. So I don't bother with online games. I really got into it at one point. I got high levels and all this other stuff. It was just social games, and I was just like, get back to work. Yes, please click the like button. Thank you, Slots of Win. Um, uh, and and Kissy Cat says, what do you think about local Vegas casinos with no glitz? The sign up bonus is tempting. So look, I mean, people ask me my opinion, and I am happy to share it, but I like to look at the data. And so if you go to professorslots.com/NV, you can look at the state returns, and you can find out, are you in Wendover with its two slot machine companies? And I think there's like 6 casinos, but they're only owned by 2 casino operators. You can find out everything there is to know by slot machine denomination for those places. You can go to Summerlin, Henderson. You can go to the different well, it's not every suburb in Las Vegas. There's like a northern Las Vegas, and there's a Las Vegas Strip, and there's the Las Vegas downtown, and basically it's narrows it down by like county. In most Elmo County, Washoe County, for Tahoe, Lake Tahoe, Reno, that sort of thing. And so go look. Away from the strip is better odds. Away from the strip and downtown is better odds. Away from the strip and downtown and northern is greater odds, because you can see the state average is higher than just the strip, just downtown, and just the city of Las Vegas. So outside of those areas, it gets better and better. Yeah. Not an opinion. Let's see. Questions. Hey, Homer. Hard Rock Tampa. Wow, that's a nice isolated casino. What do you have to drive like 3 hours to get to the next one? I answered that question. Kevin, don't see the hashtag question, but the question I have is, if you like a game and you win, how long should you wait to return to it so that you have another chance to win? So if you win and you're done and you leave, that's one thing. If you come back a week later or something, then I use my tough love method, make 10 bets. If I don't win anything at all, that's it, I'm out. If I do win anything at all, then I stay for 20 total bets. Now, if you're and again, if you go to 50 bets and make the tough love decision, 100 bets and make the tough love decision again, after that, you're on your own, is how that approach works. But some of us, for good reason, stay, and some of us find out that the odds change. What I like to do, for the worse, and what I like to do is keep an eye on when the clock changes from on the hour and on the half hour. That's been my easy tip for, go slow on the hour and on the half hour, because that's when I've seen changes made. Computers, computer servers, all that can be done at any time, but guess what? Humans run them, and humans use clocks. They love quarter till, on the hour, on the half hour. It's just instinctive intuition, whatever. And so you can see these patterns when the odds change, because they just set it that way. Maybe it's in the software. Like, I can't post to YouTube on my community page except every 15 minutes, because that's all I'm allowed to do. And so there's something in there which says, on the half hour, on the hour, and that's what I watch. That's when I go extra careful. Right. So I have a interesting philosophical question. Since you're so intelligent and hardworking, which I think is a dig, why can't you help us build a new system, not saying what system, where we don't need money or worry about money forever while doing what you're doing now? This came out in the 1960s. It's called Star Trek, which I love. Have you been to Ellis Island or Jerry Nuggets in Vegas? That's where I want to gamble at. I have not. Lots of casinos. I think there's like 40 on the Las Vegas Strip at the moment. There is 40 at the moment on Las Vegas Strip, and wow, 40. I went to 3 a day in Louisiana, and learned at 3 of them, not just kind of like walk through sipping my coffee. I learned at 3 of them, and it was exhausting, even with breaks. And 40, that's one of the things we learn is that when we think about what's going on, it takes energy. And even people living in Las Vegas, they're like, everybody's like, oh, you got 40 casinos. And they say, yeah, I got 40 casinos. And so it can be a lot. I have not been to those 2 casinos. I heard good things about Ellis Island. Yep. Right. So improve your slots play in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. And this is that page, long descriptions, lots of testimonials, lots of descriptions of what's in the course, and the different sections, and going over the basics, developing your plan, how to win, the slot strategies, first steps to more success, etc., etc. The bonuses. If you click any of the green buttons here, it'll take you to my courses, this course. And it is currently discounted at 30% off. One of the bonuses that you get, there's 3 valuable bonuses. You also get 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership, where you get community support and accountability. The Thursday night Zoom meetings are just a riot. Well, not a riot, but it's a lot of fun. And so visit professorslots.com/30days to learn more about the free bonuses, course content, and testimonials from participants. I've increased the price twice this year so far. Right now, it's discounted at 30% off for $60 savings. Get it before the price increases again. And you get lifetime access. So the next version is something that you will likely see and get with the current purchase. So, okay, that's it. What a great live stream. And my next live stream will be on Tuesday at 7:30. And let me see, where is that at? In the meantime, watch this video. Talk to you later. Bye.